Hello players, welcome to Sexy Tech, where we're not very sexy or very technical, but here we are with some sexy tech news. But do you know who's not feeling very sexy? BlackBerry and its users. January 4th was the date that legacy BlackBerry devices, that's devices running BlackBerry OS X and earlier, will start to break and lose cool text and data functionality. Yeah, well, I think I speak for everyone when I say BlackBerry is still a thing. Yeah, I know. BlackBerry Android devices will continue to function, while the physical keyboard, that's going to be missed by dozens of us. But I don't think BlackBerry going bad is going to leave a sour taste in our mouth. Yeah, that's what you came for. And whilst we're in the fruit bowl, Apple became the first company in history to hit $3 trillion in market value. 3 trillion. That's more than the entire GDP of my home country. Screw it. We're renaming Scotland to Macland and England to Ireland. Yeah, of course, they don't have 3 million in assets, it's just speculative value. But speaking of assets that are potentially worthless, in-game NFTs, yeah, they're gonna be a thing, unfortunately. President of Square Enix, he wants to put NFTs in future games, and why is probably the funniest part with this quote from the article. I realize that some people who play to have fun and who currently form the majority of our players have voiced their reservations towards these new trends, and understandably so. However, I believe that there will be a certain number of people whose motivation is to play to contribute, by which I mean help make the game more exciting. No. Wait. You see, well, I never play to have fun. When I'm playing Final Fantasy, I sit there bored, wishing the game was more like watching QVC. And help make the game more exciting? No, I'm sorry. There's kind of an unwritten rule that says you, that's the developers and publishers, make the game exciting and we'll play it. That's kind of all we really need. NFTs and in-game cryptocurrency have a lot of controversy. Steam, you've heard of Steam, right? All praise Lord Gaben. Have flat out banned NFT and crypto games from their store. And Steam, well, they don't ban much. But there's also no word on what the big console guys are going to do yet. But we do know what Sony is going to do with VR at least. PlayStation VR 2 was announced with a decent spec sheet, 4K HDR at 90 or 120 Hz refresh rate, inside-out tracking, which is the same as the Quest tracking, new Sense controllers which have the same functionality as the PS5 controllers, headset feedback, and eye tracking, which is good because I'm always losing my eyes. Unfortunately, there is still a cable and no release date yet. But the best part is that you don't need a Facebook account. Huzzah! Although you probably will need a PSN account. But who knows what you'll need for HDMI 2.1, as the HDMI 2.1 spec is changing. Again, HDMI 2.0 is going to be a subset of HDMI 2.1. Sneaky 2.1. You was 2.0 all along. With HDMI 2.1 spec, now all of the features like auto low latency mode and variable refresh rate are optional for the manufacturer to include. So you'll need to check the spec sheet of the TV you want to see what it has. I mean, it's getting more complicated than choosing options on a Tesla. On the bright side, that means that 2.0 ports are technically now 2.1 ports, which can now support the new features. They won't, but they can. It's kind of like they saw how complicated the USB 3.1 naming scheme was and said, yeah, let's do that just to screw with people. Speaking of screwing with people, 3D Realms released a new trailer for a new game. A full trailer is expected in February, but could this be a new Duke Nukem game? Nah, if it's Duke Nukem, you'll be waiting much longer than February and it'll be mediocre at best. Hail to the king, baby. Samsung's new 2022 TVs are set to include GeForce and Google Stadia. I know, Stadia still exists. I expected that to have pulled a BlackBerry. But could this be the future of gaming? All cloud-based, grab a controller and play instantly, no other hardware needed. Pretty cool, but I hope not, because I like my CUDA cores. Like the CUDA cores in NVIDIA's new RTX 3050 announced at CES with 8GB of GDDR6 RAM and DLSS, all for $250 MSRP, if you can find one at that price. Or if you can find one at all. It drops on January 27th, so good luck players, and good luck generally, because this is the end of the news. What was the story you liked the most, or the joke you liked the worst? Be loud in the comments. If you came here from the original BuzzStringer channel, it is good to see you. This is where we do this now. If you're new and made it this far, Well done. Hit the sub button for more news, when there is news, because now it's the olds. And until next time, keep playing and be excellent to each other. I was mildly insulted by a coffee today. It was a light roast. I bet you're glad you stayed for that. This is called a cold open. It's where you say something witty or clever before the intro music. Hello players, welcome to Sexy Tech. I'm your host, the Internet's Buzz Stringer. Are you feeling sexy tonight? Well, Sony is, because after Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion, Sony bounces back and catches Bungie on the rebound for $3.6 billion. Yeah, those jokes were a stretch, but this is okay. This is what we're here for. But the Blizzard deal wiped $20 million from Sony's market value. Bungie, of course, famous for Halo and Destiny. So now Microsoft owns the company that made Crash Bandicoot, and Sony owns the company that made Halo. The world just doesn't make sense anymore. But Sony have to do something to stay competitive. Probably thinking, do we have enough money to buy EA? Do we really want EA? How about Rockstar instead? But there will be some major consolidation in the gaming space in 2022, and in the short term, that's usually good for the consumer, but in the long term, less competition is always bad, so we'll just have to see how this one plays out. Spotify has to face the music, or rather lack of it, as Joni Mitchell is duetting with Neil Young and also removing her music from the streaming service because of the controversial Joe Rogan podcast. Joe Rogan has been heavily criticized for spreading misinformation about COVID and the pandemic, but Spotify have refused to remove his podcasts, and there are reports of other artists like Graham Nash also removing his music. So soon there'll be no music left on Spotify, but don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? Oh, come on. What else should I be doing? Counting crows? Okay, I'm done. Nintendo. That name is music to my ears. Except Nintendo doesn't want you to have any music to your ears, as they have issued over 1,300 copyright blocks for YouTuber Jill Vasana, who uploaded popular game music from games like Zelda and Super Mario Bros. Nintendo game music isn't available on streaming services or their own YouTube channels, so the only way to legally listen is to carry around your SNES and TV like a boombox and have the game pause at exactly the right moment. This is due to the extremely tight copyright restrictions in Japan. I mean, come on, Nintendo. I can only hum doot 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 to myself so many times. If this video is taken down, it's because Ninty sent the feds around. But since I was writing this news, sadly, Jill Vasana has said that they plan to take down the remainder of what is left on their channel. And remember, there is no legal way to buy or obtain these game soundtracks, and the channel made no money providing them. I mean, we're giving you a community strike, Nintendo. This is not cool. Now, it's been 18 years since Half-Life 2, and while we are a bit overdue for a fully fledged sequel, it is getting controller support. Now, most people are saying that this update is for compatibility with the Steam Deck, Steam's handheld gaming device, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this is firm proof that Half-Life 3 is confirmed. You heard it here first. But for Sega, it's the last. It's the end of an era for Sega, as it is quitting the Japanese arcade business. I mean, the writing has been on the wall for some time. Back in the 80s and 90s, the video game arcades were places of innovation and had much better hardware than what you could physically have at home. Now, of course, everybody plays at home. And in 2021, the Namco Funscape arcade closed its doors in London. And while none of this is surprising, we want to say thank you for the memories. And I hope we made some memories, because that's the end of the news. The news is over. What did we miss? Drop it in the comments. Come back Friday for more. And until next time, keep playing and be excellent to each other. The Back to the Future musical has finally returned to theatres. I thought that's about time. Bye! Hey, what are you doing here? I know what I'm doing here. No, I don't. That's a lie. Hello players, welcome to Sexy Tech. I'm your host, the Internet's Buzz Stringer. Sit down, relax, accept these cookies. Too many cookies are bad for your privacy. And speaking of privacy, Meta, is blaming Apple for costing them $10 billion. Back in April, part of Apple's iOS 14.5 update included an option to disable apps tracking users across other apps. If users opt out of this, it stops the app from getting data used by advertisers. These privacy changes are great, unless you're the lizard man. It's estimated that 95% of iPhone users who have had the update have opted out of ad tracking.
Well, I don't know what Facebook is going to do. They're just going to have to steal your data in some other way, perhaps in the metaverse. But Microsoft are also angry at Apple. It just seems that everybody's jealous of the rich kid. Microsoft has filed an amicus brief. I don't know what that is, but they sound comfortable. An amicus brief supporting Epic Games in its appeal against Apple's 30% cut of all sales in the iOS store. And Microsoft want a more open system for supporting a range of online payments, which is all well and good. But Microsoft stated that if Apple isn't stopped now, its antitrust behavior will only get worse. Antitrust? Really, Microsoft? Antitrust? That's the card you're playing. Well, you do have a lot of experience, I suppose. How's that Activision deal coming along? Just out of curiosity. How many different payment methods do you have on the Xbox store? Is it just your own? I'm asking for a friend. But Spotify is still losing friends, as there is now an open letter from doctors and scientists pointing out the inaccuracies and dangerous information from the Joe Rogan podcast regarding COVID-19 and the pandemic. Spotify has removed over 100 episodes, but they don't seem to have anything to do with COVID-19 or the controversy. It's all very strange, but Joe Rogan did issue an apology video, not for the COVID stuff, but for racist things that he said over a decade ago. Maybe in another 12 years there'll be an apology video for all the COVID comments. But none of that really matters, because the big news is that Rockstar have announced there's a new Grand Theft Auto game in development. My guess is that it'll be GTA 5 for Game Boy Color. But it's shocking news that game developer is developing a game. No, in all seriousness, no, they made a blog post and a tweet that said many of you have been asking about a new entry in the Grand Theft Auto series. With every new project, our goal is to always significantly move beyond what we have previously delivered. We're pleased to confirm that active development for the next entry in the series is underway. I believe in the blog post it said well underway, so that's good. And here's everything we know about the new GTA. Did you catch that? We know nothing. We don't know if it's GTA 6, Vice City 2, GTA Let's All Go to the Zoo, or GTA 2077. What we do know is that they want to significantly move beyond what we have previously delivered. Who knows whether that means it'll be a bigger, better Grand Theft Auto or a faster way to sell you shark cards. I'm reservedly excited. But let's call up the boy and go for a joyride. Speaking of taking you for a ride, Amazon, the biggest retailer in the world, not the rainforest, because that's not very big anymore, and it's currently covered in oil. But Amazon are putting up the price of Prime in the US to $14.99 a month. They say it's due to rising costs and other factors. But this might actually be true this time, because in the last quarter of 2021, if it wasn't for AWS, Amazon's cloud services, the retail business would have actually made a loss. But they do have AWS, so the profit for that quarter was $3.5 billion. And that was the last quarter of this 6-section show. Did you learn anything? I'd be very surprised if you did. What did we miss? Drop it in the comments. Come back for more, and until next time, keep playing and be excellent to each other. My landlord called me and he said, we need to have a meeting about your heating bill. I said, sure. My door's always open. Bye! This is a cold open. If you're new, you must have typed some weird stuff into YouTube search to end up here. Hello players, welcome to Sexy Tech. I'm your host, the Internet Buzz Stringer. Sit back, relax, turn up the volume. I don't know what this is. These are my volume nipples. Yeah. Well, are you feeling sexy? Because Meta is not feeling very sexy. Mark Zuckerberg has threatened to pull out. Do we have a picture of Mark Zuckerberg? Yeah, there we go. Mark Zuckerberg has threatened to pull Facebook and Instagram out of Europe because they are being forced to comply with privacy laws. The German economy minister and the French minister were not upset about this. They were like, bye! The German minister said, I've lived without Facebook and Twitter for 4 years and life has been fantastic. And the French minister said, I can confirm that life is very good without the Facebook and that we will be very well without Facebook. A French minister also said, digital giants must understand that the European continent will resist and affirm its sovereignty.
You know, that really sounds like something the German would have said. You say that we are the Germans, we cannot say stuff like that anymore. Of course, Zuckerberg isn't going to do anything. These are just empty threats. And if you want to do business in a country, maybe it's best that you follow the country's laws. Just an idea. Hey, we want to break the law. No. Then we won't do business here. That's how it works. But there's good news, everyone! Futurama is coming back for at least one more season on Hulu, and it's interesting to see how well this final finale stacks up against the other 4 finales. Come on, they've been dragging out the Simpsons corpse around for a while. They can keep Futurama going. But unfortunately, John DiMaggio, as of right now, is not confirmed to be returning. He's probably going off to make his own Futurama with blackjack and hookers. In fact, forget Futurama. The big story this week is that porn sites in the UK, hey, I know that place, will be legally required to verify users' age by proving they own a credit card or via some other third-party service. Yeah, because if there's anyone you can trust with your online personal information, it will be porn sites. Privacy is a huge concern, and now your privacy is at risk from both Pornhub and Mark Zuckerberg. But Pornhub and Mark Zuckerberg, both very different, of course. One of them you'd be very embarrassed to be caught looking at, and the other one is Pornhub. This whole process isn't very well thought out. They tried to implement it in 2019, but they couldn't get it up and running. But under 18s are going to get hold of their mum's or parents' credit card. I mean, Mum, can I borrow your credit card? What for? Roblox. And boobies. Or penises. Any VPN should be able to get around this. I mean, if they had thought about it for longer than, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes. The better way would be to block it at the ISP level and call your ISP if you want the porn filter off. Hello? Yes, this is the account holder. Can I have boobies? And also penises. And also the penises. Okay, we're out of time. I did have a story about car manufacturers charging monthly fees for heated seats. That would have been good, but never mind. As always, stay sexy and be excellent to each other. You know, I don't believe in intuition, but I have this strange feeling that one day I might. Bye! If you came here for some good, clean, wholesome fun, you've made a very wrong turn. Hello players, welcome to Sexy Tech. I'm your host, the internet's Buzz Stringer. Sit back, relax, let's get undressed like they do on Twitch. No. But do you know who is feeling sexy today? Kanye West and his stem. No, that's not a euphemism for penis. We nearly made it a whole minute without saying penis. Ah well. Never mind. The stem player is a flesh-colored $200 glorified MP3 player that can play 4 tracks or stems at once, but it will be the only way to get his new album, Donda 2, which means they needed to sell some stem players and thought this would be a good idea. Ye's new album will be exclusive to the stem player and not available on any other streaming service. Although, from the Verge article, it says that in February 2016 he released The Life of Pablo exclusively via Tidal, tweeting that it will never be on Apple and never be available for sale. On April 1st of that year, The Life of Pablo launched for streaming on Spotify, Apple Music and Google Play. Yeah. Sorry, yay! Ye has said that today artists get just 12% of the money the industry makes, and it's time to free music from this oppressive system. It's time to take control and build our own, he said. He also said, I'm willing to die standing because I ain't living on my knees no more. Okay, I agree that artists should be paid a fair amount for their work. However, Kanye made over $12 million from his last album. I mean, the only time he'll be on his knees is when he's sitting on his private beach in Malibu next to his $57 million house. Maybe we have different ideas of of living on knees. But if money is tight, Mr. West, maybe consider some lifestyle changes like, I don't know, less Starbucks lattes, or eating at home more, or reducing that gym membership. I mean, do you really need cable TV? You know, simple things. The issue with streaming services is not really the big artists. I mean, if you're struggling to make ends meet with 12 million in the bank, maybe you should take a step back. The issue is with the smaller artists and everyone in the ladder that makes the big artists look good. These are the ones who don't get paid enough. But the stem player, that isn't really that unique either. I mean, remember these? But I don't think we should be tying digital music to hardware that will eventually become yay waste. Okay, that's enough of that, because speaking of wasting loads of money, it has cost Facebook over $500 billion to transform into Meta, and still nobody seems to care. It has wiped over $500 billion of the value of Meta as a company, and it's not even in the top 10 list of richest companies anymore. I mean, okay, we have been a bit heavy on the Facebook news over the past few weeks, but they do make it really easy. So we'll take a break. No more Facebook news next week, unless they do something really, really stupid. And speaking of being really stupid, Microsoft is up next. Soon, Windows 11 Pro will require a Microsoft account when installing for the first time. I mean, there's a trick you can do right now where you can bypass that requirement by disconnecting from the internet before setting up Windows. That won't be possible in the future. Great. The update is coming soon, TM, and it's almost like they go out of their way to make you have a worse experience. Hopefully the EU will step in and tell them off again, like they did with Internet Explorer. But Windows 11 Pro is about $150 if you want to buy a new license outright. Now it's $150 plus your personal data. Yay! Just pick one, Microsoft. Data or dollars. You can't have them both. We're out of time. What did we miss this week? Okay, so 2 of these stories are true and 1 of them is false. See if you can work out what it is. There was a story about bionic eyes that are now obsolete. Yeah, they didn't see that coming. And a father shut down an entire town's internet with a signal jammer because his son was spending too much time online. And Facebook employees are now called MetaMates. I'm sorry, they're all true. How crazy is that? If you want to leave a question or a comment, you can leave them down below. I know it just says comments down below, but between you and me, you can leave a question. That's fine. And until next time, stay sexy and be excellent to each other. I know why you're still here. You know, I don't like elevators. I take steps to avoid them.